Alright, today I'm going to be giving you guys a quick Friday update on the price action and where I think we are in the market. As you can see, we are approaching the $100,000 mark. Keep bouncing right up against 99K. Probably a lot of profit taking right now. There's also a little bit of manipulation, you could say. There's some walls at 100K that are potentially spoof orders, potentially actually trying to get filled. It's a big psychological number. There's going to be a lot of speculation around the breakage of six figures for Bitcoin, and when we do break that target, you better believe retail is coming back in full force, as we are already seeing a lot of retailers jump in, especially today. I'm seeing just a lot of new eyes. I wouldn't be surprised if this video gets more views than normal, and I think we gotta be starting to get a little bit cautious. I know I'm a little bit more worried about the market than I have been. Just when we see some stuff like XRP, we talked about how this normally goes last in the cycle, and it would probably fractal something similar to what we had back in April of 2021, which did mark the top for Bitcoin, where you have your first upthrust, a little bit of consolidation, and then we fire off for the second angle, which goes ahead and tops out very, very quickly. Only have a couple days to sell here before you plummet back in and then distribute there. So if we are fractaling something like 2021, you would say we only have a couple days left until the top actually does come in. Do I think that's actually what's happening here? Not necessarily, right? Things in crypto don't repeat perfectly. We've seen in this cycle the fractals have taken a lot longer to play out. So while yes, I think retail is coming back and we're nearing that point, we need to be getting cautious in the market and looking to potentially de-risk, not add a risk. That we still have some time left. I think, that 100K target, when it does get reached, it's going to send a lot more altcoins to the moon. And I think the reason XRP might be going first instead of last this cycle is because of that regulatory clarity and it being listed on a bunch of exchanges where it wasn't in 2020 and 2017. It actually made an all-time high in 2017, the only coin to do that. So I think there's just a lot of repricing here going on, and it's not exactly something we can look at for a one-to-one to say that this momentum is signaling a top coming in for Bitcoin quite yet. We'll continue to watch something like this though. I think a better representation would be Cardano. So I do think Cardano is going to continue to perform very, very well, but we're seeing this is still very early stage of retracements. Even though I think there's a good chance we don't go into an all-time high here for this cycle, we might just retrace. We're looking to probably get up to the golden pocket, right? We're looking to probably get up to minimum the 382, right? We're not there yet. We still have quite a ways to go. So I would say we don't need to be getting cautious until we do start reaching these higher retracement levels for our majors, right? And whenever we do start to potentially distribute, even if it is at just this 382, most of your other risk on assets aren't going to run until this peak. So what I just drew out here, this simple drawing lands us all the way at May of 2025. So even though we might top out sooner rather than later, that distribution is going to take some time, and a lot of your riskier stuff like meme coins, right? There'll be a lot of stuff to rotate into to continue to make money. I know I said not to add a risk, and meme coins would be adding risk, but that doesn't mean they won't run later. I'm just saying don't rotate into them if you're not already in them. So like essentially I'm going to hold my meme coins that I've been holding. I'm already up a lot on, but I'm not going to rotate out of my altcoins into something that's already up 10x, even though it might do another 10x. That's adding unnecessary risk. So yeah, those are just kind of my thoughts. There's a good chance we run all the way to the golden pocket, something like that, right? But we're definitely getting into this parabolic move for the altcoins. The altcoin season is definitely here, right? We're seeing that not necessarily across the board quite yet, but in a lot of our assets, they're starting to explode, especially, even just a lot of old stuff. Throughout 2023 and 2024, we've seen some altcoins running, right? Like Tau, Caspa, a lot of smaller cap stuff that were being speculated on had a lot of momentum, but we haven't seen these older majors go. But we are now finally starting to get that, which is signaling that retail is returning and the top's going to be in soon, because once these parabolas start in crypto, they don't last very long. Now that being said, I could be wrong in my analysis in saying that we're going to have this topping structure and then roll. There's definitely a chance we come up here, distribute, but it's actually not distribution, it's just consolidation, then we continue on up and do something like that. So still maybe a retracement, but maybe it doesn't happen all at once. We have some consolidation. This actually makes a lot of sense to me, right? It's maybe something more similar or akin to 2021, right? You have some consolidation, secondary high, and then it's game over after that. So we will be checking this stuff, monitoring it on the charts here on this channel to figure out what's really going to happen. Are we going to break down, or are we going to go ahead and make a secondary high into a higher retracement level, or even price discovery for these majors out there? So I think a big thing we can keep our eye on is, of course, the Bitcoin dominance, as well as just general sentiment in the markets. And then really at the end of the day, it's going to come down to meme coins, and not necessarily just random meme coins, because we're seeing random meme coins do 100x's every other day, because that's just the current state of crypto. But we're talking about the majors, right? You're looking for your Pepe, right? Whenever Pepe does a 10x, which it might not, but 5 to 10x is pretty realistic there, and that should be an obvious sign. Once you see Pepe on Bloomberg, on CSNBC, and these major outlets start covering it, when you get a Pepe ETF by BlackRock, okay, the top's probably in, right? So we'll be waiting for those big meme coin runs, and that should go ahead and mark the top for us. It should be really easy to tell out there in the market. That's been my favorite strategy for timing the tops, and it's worked every single time. You saw it with Doge and SNL, and then you saw it again with Floki and a bunch of other stuff in 2021. So yeah, I'll continue to monitor that stuff. So far, so good. Not seeing anything too worrying, other than the fact that, hey, a lot of retail is returning, so just be aware of that. Be aware that you're no longer early, right? If you're jumping into Bitcoin right now, you're buying it at $100,000 instead of $16,000, which is where you should have been buying it. Maybe the $30,000 range was also a good buy, but really anything above that, you're pretty late to the game. So just be aware we're at the end of the cycle, not the beginning of the cycle, like some may say. I saw out there that people were talking about a 20 to 30% correction, fractal in something more similar to what we had last cycle when we compared to Bitcoin and how the altcoins might run after that. That would be looking at the January timeframe right here. So Bitcoin has a pretty substantial correction after we do break the all-time highs, right? Those $20,000 all-time highs, run up 20-30% correction. This is actually where the majority of your altcoins do their thing. So when comparing to total 3 here, you can see that, I mean, we've talked about this before, but you look at the January 2021 timeframe, that is just the start of altcoins running. And we see, and something to note during this time frame is that altcoins continue to make higher lows, whereas Bitcoin makes lower lows within the consolidation. So we'll see if we do have something similar to that play out here. I would not be surprised if it were to fractal something similar. I would also not be surprised, and actually I'm leaning more towards the idea that we don't have a 20 to 30% correction, and by the time we have a correction, all of those people that have been calling for it will say this is the buy the dip opportunity, when in fact it really might just be over at that point. So we might just see us blow through into, who knows, $120,000 or so. Pretty arbitrary there, but we see a 20-30% correction. Everybody says that's the dip to buy. Maybe we swing up for a secondary high that gets all the bears back into the market. Then we swing fail this high, and that's where it's game over. So yeah, just be aware of that. We don't have to fractal last cycle. We don't have to have any correction here before the final high does come in. And how will we know if things are topped, or if this is just going to be a correction and then we continue on for a longer cycle into maybe the end of 2025? And like I said, meme coins are going to be my biggest catalyst, but also just the general sentiment out there in the market. And I think we're going to see a big sentiment flip once Bitcoin does break $100,000, which it might after I upload this video. It might within the next 10 minutes or so. We are so close to breaking that $100,000. So very exciting times here on Bitcoin. It'll be fun to watch this. I'm sure a lot of people are out there having their $100,000 watch parties. So yeah, sit back, relax, have some fun. Enjoy the exciting times here in crypto. Just make sure to keep a level head and realize when things get euphoric, it usually doesn't last very long. But if you do have any questions about anything I talked about, or just want to join the community for this channel, link to the Discord is in the description down below. Also have all of my exchange partners linked down there. So if you want to get some nice bonuses and rewards, including a 10% cash back on any deposit up to $10,000, that can be found on Belowfin, and that is a futures bonus, by the way, for trading. But yeah, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.